It's paintball heaven today on Spike, with everything from marker-toting mamas to the goods on goggles. So load them up for Paintball 2Xtremes. Hey everybody, I'm James Bates. Thanks so much for joining us today as we swing into another episode of Paintball 2Xtremes. We got a heck of a show for you today. We'll check out a little 5-man novice finals action. We'll look closely at how you can protect your eyes while playing, but still play hard. And we'll break down what it takes to be a position player. All that and a whole lot more. Just ask Jennifer Pierce.
And I will tell you that paintball is outpacing such other sports, such as inline skating and skateboarding as a leisure activity. And it's not surprising that paintball is attracting a lot of the ladies. And I'll check out some of these wild women later in the show. But right now, let's check in with James and JJ to find out how to play paintball hard but safe.
Hey, how'd you like to be this dummy? And today we're going to teach you how not to be a dummy, not only when it comes to fashion, but eye safety as well. And JJ, there's absolutely no substitute for paintball goggles, is there?
That's right, James. Those sunglasses, they may be nice, they may attract the chicks, but they will not stop a paintball. Even glasses like this that are designed for eye protection, these are designed to wear in wood shop or when you're working on your car or something like that. It may stop wood chips and it may stop those things, but again, it will not stop a paintball. Paintballs are traveling at 200 miles per hour, 300 feet per second. When they impact these lenses, they will fail dramatically, and it will cause severe eye injuries, lacerations, perhaps blindness. By comparison, a paintball lens is made for paintball. You're talking about a 3mm thick polycarbonate lens that's designed to withstand those impacts at various temperatures, low temperatures, high temperatures, plus it offers peripheral vision and anti-fog capability.
And while this alone may also get you the chicks, you need the entire goggle system to put it all together.
Absolutely. When you wear a complete goggle system, and that's the way they come, you get the ear protection, the face protection, the forehead protection, and the anti-fog properties work properly.
Eye safety, the biggest safety concern when you're playing paintball, but still baseball, basketball, and about 45 other sports in front of paintball when it comes to injuries per capita. But on the goggles, have some fun, paint it up a little bit, right, JJ?
That's right.
Samson, you look good. What's that? He's crazy. He just said, "Luke, I am your father," in the perfect Darth Vader voice. Well, you can stay there because I'm going to stand up. Everybody should stand up right now and maybe put on your goggles if it makes you feel better, because NebraskaPaintball.com is taking on the Panhandle All-Stars. You don't want to miss this action. Check it out. So some big final round action here, this round-robin format at the Northeast Open. Nebraska Paintball on the right, the Panhandle All-Stars on the left, and they've broken out.
Yeah, they're doing great. Again, everyone's made their bunkers here. So we have 5-on-5 on the breakout. Front players are in position, back players shooting cover. Everybody's looking for seams, looking for movement. It's critical at this point to try to find that first break, that first movement, that first seam you can get into. So often whoever gets the momentum going their way will win the game.
Well, speaking of momentum, Nebraska Paintball coming into this game with a huge win over the dyslexic Dogs. Poor guys probably still think they got beat by Sarvin.
That's right. And here we see Nebraska bumping up. He's moved up to get a little better angle. This can really change the game. They're trying to get the momentum on their side. Again, jousting both teams, very carefully working their bunkers, being cautious, looking for, oh, there we go, another move, long run, all the way up the center, double move. Beautiful move by Nebraska. They move two players at the same time. Often when two players move simultaneously like that, the other team will shoot neither one of them because of the confusion created.
Well, and there's a perfect example. There you see in the background one of the All-Stars heading back to the box.
And Nebraska's on the left tape. They're at the 50 left and 50 center now. Good, strong positions. They're wrapping that center pretty hard. He's wrapping around the bunker, as you can see, which could expose him, but he's getting some better angles that way. It's a chance he takes sometime.
Well, what are the chances of coming out alive? You're out of position, outnumbered. Here you see the great communication going back and forth between the Nebraska guys.
Well, what happens now, the All-Stars need to cross it up. They just need to get defensive. They need to watch their lanes, their angles, play real tight, not expose themselves, and hope to shoot some of the Nebraska guys coming in and then counterpunch later.
Rob Plum Peeking around that pipe. Here goes one of the Nebraska paintballers down, and not happy about that. Paint to the grill.
Yeah, that was a center player. He did some damage. He got taken out. He shouldn't be upset with himself. He really contributed to his team.
And trade one off. There goes one of the all-stars down. Back at Plum, bird's eye view, looking down at him. He's done a lot of work in that left pipe.
Yeah, he's doing a great job on that left tape. He's at the 50. He's got good angles. And now he's communicating. You know, this is critical here. It's important that they keep in the game. It's 2-on-1, but you can't choke now. You don't want to mess up. Oh, he's gone. That's it. That's it. Last man.
And there goes the last all-star. Took 2 balls, though. First ball bounced off his head, as you saw. The second one hit its mark. And on charges Nebraska paintball. One step closer to taking that championship trophy back to Nebraska. But Albany power surge awaits later on. Having a good time on today's show, but we just scratched the surface. Look at this. USA, Sweden, Germany, France, England, worldwide. Oh, Russia. Can't forget these guys. The Russian invasion. They're coming. They're here. They're bad. We'll check them out later in the show. And it's back to the 5-man free-for-all in the novice ranks. That and much, 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 much more paintball. Don't go anywhere. Paintball 2Xtremes is brought to you by National Paintball Supply, King of Paintball. Bob Long, the man behind the world-renowned Intimidator. And by 32 Degrees, cool as ice. Check his arm! Check his arm! Whew, having a good time in the stands here at the Northeast Open. Whether it's tournament, 5-man, 10-man, or just a little friendly competition like we have here, different sizes and skills determine what positions a player should play. But you don't want to know from me, you want to know from the pros, right? Check this out.
My name is Chris Lasoya. I'm captain of Team Infamous, and I'm here to show you how to play all the different positions you can play on the field. On the field, there's 3 main positions. You got a back player, your mid players, and your front players. As a back player, you want to visualize where the front and mid players are going and shoot the lane. As a mid player, you're carrying less paint, you're running faster, and you're getting up to the front spots. Therefore, you have to know where the back players are going to be shooting. Therefore, you can pick the proper lane. The mid players stop in mid lane, and you also try to lane off the front players. Now, as a front player, mostly it's just put your head down, get to your spot, because your main position is A, to suck up the guns from the back and mid players, B, get to your spot, and C, to live. If you live, they're not paying attention to the other guys, which leaves a chance for the back and mid players to make the moves and win the game for you.
It's kind of like football, isn't it? The little guys, the medium guys, and the big guys all pulling together to make one big happy team. But you see, Paintball 2Xtremes is not like football. They've got the 2-minute drill, and we've only got 60 seconds to get you caught up on all the newest gear in the land. Go!
Right here we have the Empire Reloader B sound-activated loader. Sound-activated means there's no eye sensors, so you don't have to wait on the eye sensors to register the ball. Every time you pull your trigger, it's actually going to spin and load paint. I'm going to go ahead and pour paint in and demonstrate for you guys. The ball's actually feeding through the loader. And every time I hit it, it's going to spin out paint. If I stop, it doesn't spin. If I go faster, it's going to spit out more paint a lot faster. A lot of the top teams on the circuit are using this loader. It's got a hard plastic shell, so if you're diving around, banging around, it's not going to break. It's going to last a lot longer. The good thing about this loader is it has 3 speed options. You can change the speeds to set it towards your gun. You only have to use 4 AA batteries, which in a lot of standard loaders you have to use 6. It's going to save you money that way. And if you have any kind of paintballs out there, this loader will feed it. It doesn't matter what the shell color is, it'll feed dark shell colors. And as we all know, the faster they go in, the faster they go out.
Aggressive tactics are the key to success in paintball, and boldly moving into new territory is crucial to the sport's success both on and off the field.
You look at history in the past, how great leaders marched through different countries and stuff. We're doing the same thing in paintball and trying to bring paintball into different countries and around the states. Certain areas where paintball's weak, we're spending more money promoting. Sometimes I sit there looking at maps and figure out, where we got to go next and where the sport of paintball's got to go next.
That expansion plan is making inroads at events all around the country and is rapidly moving beyond the North American shores. As paintball grows, players and teams are showing up from all over the globe, and one of the strongest of these powerhouses comes from Russia. The team is made up of an international cast.
Nowadays we got 12 Russian players and 3 international players, one from Brazil, one from Finland, and one from England.
The nucleus of the Legion began playing scenario or renegade games, as they are known in Russia.
We got the basic squad, about 5 people who started playing paintball 8 years ago. We decided to take the best place in Moscow and the best pro team in Moscow and in Russia too.
The Russian government has noticed the sport's potential and has stepped in with a great deal of support.
We're the first professional team because we're training 5 days a week. And we get money for the trainings. We got the contracts, personal contracts, each of the players in the team.
Competing here in America, the Russian Legion has found that there's some major misconceptions about how they play the game.
Someone could tell you that we are all playing with the satellites, you know. Satellites show us where to go and tell us where to shoot and so on.
The Russian Legion has been quite successful this season in Europe with many wins, but their primary focus is on a big battle in Florida.
Our main point for this year is to take one of the first prizes in the World Cup. And all our team always like to play in America because here the level of all teams is very high, and it's very interesting to play here.
Hey, want to know a tantalizing tidbit about paintball? Its phenomenal growth has turned it into a $4 billion, that's right, billion-dollar industry. And we'll have more when PB2X bounces back in a moment. Welcome back to Paintball 2Xtremes. Over here, the TV show, not the magazine, although you can't lose either way. They're both great. You know, more and more people are heading out to the paintball events to check out paintball action, but also to check out the honeys. These days, they're loading up, getting in the middle of the action, and taking it to them. With more on that, here's Jennifer. Check this out.
For a long time, paintball was regarded as a male-only activity. But now the number of women players in this sport is growing at an incredible rate. One of the top ladies teams in the sport today is, in fact, one that is bound to impress you.
I have girls from all over the world. I have one girl, she just relocated. She's from Finland. I have girls from Texas, Wisconsin, Minnesota. It's been quite a road finding the girls that I do have, but I got them and they're great girls.
Everybody's so easygoing and we get along really well, and it's because we all come from different sides.
Not surprisingly, the Empresses find that playing a male-dominated sport is an uphill battle, but those obstacles can be overcome.
It's not a discriminating sport. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, you know, it doesn't matter.
Anytime that there's a male-dominated sport, I think it's great for women to kind of get into it and share that.
You have those guys who don't like women playing paintball, and you have the guys who are so supportive, but you only really need the ones who are supportive.
But there are certain circumstances that pose a temporary problem for some of the women who play paintball, like having a baby.
I just had a kid, and so I had to quit playing, so as soon as I could, I was back on the field because I was ready to lose the weight.
Tammy and her teammates also realize that their labors are bringing a new generation of young players into the sport, and that may be the Empress's most significant accomplishment.
You know, we really like it when the girls come up and talk to us, the younger girls and everything, because they're like, wow, you guys play and all that stuff, and it's great to get emails from them that say, you know, congratulate us on playing and tell us that we motivated them to start playing or inspired them to start playing. And my 4-year-old daughter, she doesn't play yet. We'll give her a couple more years. We've got our shirt that says Empress in Training.
So with teams like the Empresses running around, you definitely want to keep that vision clear, which means you shouldn't wear the sunglasses or the shop goggles like we showed you earlier. And with that, it's time to check in with Mr. Tech Talk himself, Chris Spina, for the latest in advancements in goggle systems. The goggle system, a must-have if you're out there playing paintball, and well, you take care of these guys, and they'll take care of you, right, Chris?
That's right, James. This particular line of goggles we have here for you today is the V-Force goggles, probably the most advanced goggles out right now. If you notice in the back of the strap here, has silicone beading running across it to keep the goggle from stripping on the back of your head. This particular goggle is actually equipped with probably the quickest lens changing system out there today. If you change your lenses before, you know how much of a hassle it can be. Basically what you do is you just pry this little tab up here on both sides, and you pop the lens out, just pushing on the two tabs here. And that's your lens there. This lens is a no fog lens. It's called a thermal lens. Basically, there's a coating baked into the lens here. When you clean this lens, you don't want to use any kind of window cleaner or any kind of solvents or anything like that. You just want to use plain water. That way it won't deteriorate the coating that's baked into this particular lens. All cleaned out, pop it back on. Pretty simple.
And you're ready to roll. But if you're out there in the heat of the battle and you don't have water, maybe?
Yeah, James, spit, although not recommended by most professionals, does work fine for you if you can't get a hold of any water.
You know, this guy does it. High tech, low tech, it doesn't matter. We're helping you out. And you know, if you crave more of that type of tech, the latest issue of Paintball 2Xtremes magazine has what you want, along with a profile of the top paintball team in Sweden. Joy Division. Yeah, check it out. But do your reading after the show. We'll be right back. Paintball 2Xtremes is brought to you by Diablo, play with fire. Empire, it's a lifestyle. And by National Paintball Supply, king of paintball. Hey there, welcome back to Paintball 2Xtremes. I'm James Bates, well, I was never really a skater. I used to skate a little bit, but always very much an amateur. And Draxus has got its own board. I'm here in their tent. Whoa, a little bit maybe, but still a novice. Kind of like Nebraska paintball in the novice division. They were kicking some butt earlier. They've got Albany Power Surge now in the finals. Let's go check them out. And there's a look at the Nebraska paintball team running through the Dyslexic Dogs and the Panhandle All-Stars. It'll take quite a surge from the Albany Power Surge to win this championship, so a little bit on the defensive maybe for Nebraska here early, and Albany making a big offensive move, JJ.
Yeah, they did. They ran right to the 50 on the break, although he got a little lazy on that run out. You notice he wasn't running full stride to the 50, and as a result, got shot going in. You really have to stretch that first run. And here we have Nebraska being pretty defensive. They're really crossing up the field. They're laying deep. They're keeping the field nice and cross. I mean, they're shooting the angles, covering each other, making sure that it's very difficult for the Power Surge to move.
And the reason they're doing that, in this round-robin format, and after decisively winning in the first couple rounds, Nebraska really doesn't have to hang that flag to win it this time, do they?
That's correct. They only have to shoot 3 of the Power Surge out. If they shoot 3 of them out, even if they lose the game, Nebraska still wins the event. Now here they pushed forward on the right, got shot out, so they lost that one. Power Surge is trying to get aggressive. They really need to take it to them.
You saw Robert Plum from Nebraska go out early in the last game we saw against the Panhandle All-Stars. He was all over the field, did a lot of damage, and now they're starting to move. Nebraska moving up a little bit here.
Yeah, Nebraska's taking advantage of some seams that have opened up. They pushed their left tape now. They have a guy on the head of the snake, and then right here in this square bunker, they're shooting at left tape. And he took a bounce, or was he hit? He's bounced. Bounced top of the head.
Bouncing off the head, all the technology, all the strategy that goes into this game, sometimes it takes a little bit of luck too, and there we saw it on the Nebraska side.
Yeah, it literally is a matter of how the ball bounces for your team.
So Nebraska paintball on the left, the Albany Power Surge on the right. And surging forward right now are the guys from Nebraska trying to take home this championship in this novice final of the Northeast Open.
Yeah, even though Nebraska doesn't have to be aggressive, they're still taking it to them. They're not afraid to pull the trigger, move. He's moving up now. He's sliding that right tape. He's on the 50 now. The right 50. He's wrapping to his right. They have 3 people in the 50 now. You can put a fork in them. Surge is done.
They are done in Nebraska paintball. They only needed to keep a few guys alive, but you know what? They'll go ahead and hang the flag for good measure, the champions. All right, Nebraska, big game 2. You need a little bit of insurance, and you sure did that. Huge game 3, left 4 guys clean. How about it?
That's what we had to come out and do, and we took care of business. That's all there is to it.
Here you go. 5-man novice champions here at the Northeast Open. Congratulations, guys. And girl. Gotta be quick. Can we speed that up so I can get quicker? Like those guys, they were pretty good. Not bad for novices. You know what? That's all the time we have for this week's show. I'm so sorry, but you don't want to miss us next week because we got all kinds of cool stuff. How about the fierce and frantic action of 10-man Pro-Am from the Northeast Open? We'll show you ways to make sure your marker doesn't cut loose at the wrong time, and you'll meet a fantastic front man. So thanks so much for joining us again here on Paintball 2Xtremes, and for the whole PB2X crew, I'm James Bates. We'll see you next week.